am a lifelong Halloween fan. I am so honored to moderate this panel of one because it's the one and only. I am here to introduce who we are all here to listen to and ask questions and get those answers. Jamie Lee Curtis. I know it's like we're gonna pay this off storytelling style and start at the end, go back to the beginning and come full circle. But after 44 years, this is the last Halloween. How does it feel?
You know, endings are a bitch. But so is Laurie Strode. So, I'm ready to end it, but I'm gonna miss you so much. I'm so serious, you guys, and I don't take any of this for granted. And you just have to understand this is overwhelming, and I appreciate your support very, very much, but it's all overwhelming for me.
And you've earned that support. Halloween in 1978 was your first film. There had been some television in your CV previous, but your first film, and Laurie Strode was your first film role. You were 19 at the time. What do you remember most about making that movie and how you felt about Laurie and yourself intersecting at the same time?
So when I was 19, I was not like Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode was an acting part. You know, you would have hired me to play Linda. Like, I was a little promiscuous, and, you know, I mean, I just wasn't, I was a little snarky and I was a little promiscuous, but I was not Laurie Strode. And it was, what was amazing to me was an acting part. She didn't look like me, she didn't dress like me, she didn't think like me. I barely got out of high school. She was like the valedictorian of her class. You know, there was a real opportunity for me to be an actor, which I hadn't had that opportunity before. And for me, that was incredible. So I loved that opportunity. Shooting the movie, it was shot in 17 days. I've been on a world tour that's twice as long as the amount of time we made the entire movie. I mean, it's insane. And I guarantee you they've spent more than 25 times, maybe 30 times the amount of money that the movie cost to promote this movie. So it's sort of surreal. But here's my memory, I swear. Steely Dan, Hey 19, was a hit then, and the crew kind of dedicated it to me, which I just thought was unbelievable, because the crew were 25 dudes under 30. And, you know, I was 19, and guys were like saying, hey, here's your song, Jen. And, you know, so anyway, that's my memory, is that somehow you know, Hey 19 by Steely Dan was about me, which it wasn't. But
See, that's the kind of morsels and memories that we're looking for, because now I'm not going to listen to Hey 19 anytime soon and not be thinking of that memory with you. Steven Spielberg told me when he was making Jaws, Waterloo by ABBA was like on repeat on the radio and he was stuck on the water shooting. Like, a song can be a powerful memory and association with an iconic movie. Let me ask you, as someone who has tried to step into...
Sophisticated I wasn't at 19. I didn't know any shit at 19, but I pretended maybe I did.
Nobody does, and everyone thinks they know everything.
No, exactly. All that John said to me, and you guys will appreciate it because we're in a big hall, all John said was, I want her to be vulnerable. Now, when I was 19, first of all, I couldn't spell vulnerable because I barely got out of high school. And two, I thought that meant weak. For some reason, I'm not a thesaurus, but you know, I kind of thought vulnerable meant weak, and I was sort of like, okay, John. And what happened is we made the movie. And then I went into a theater in Hollywood, like late night theater in Hollywood. It was a packed house. It was around Halloween. And I stood in the back. And, you know, the movie's going on, and Laurie and her friends, and teasing, and Michael, and hey, speed kills, and all of the setup. And then the phone call from Linda, and Laurie looking out the window, checking on the kids, and then walking across the street. Now, you guys know the sequence. It started the audience participation that we now know is a horror movie experience. And it was in that second that I went, oh, that's what he meant. He wanted her to be vulnerable so that you cared about her and you didn't want her to get hurt. And you guys haven't wanted me to get hurt for 44 years. Everybody's friend, everybody's daughter, granddaughter, niece. She represented pure innocence and kindness. And when she comes into conflict and collision, really, with Michael Myers, who is the epitome of evil, in John's understanding of vulnerability, that you care about her. And when I say you guys have cared for me, you have carried her. You love her. You have loved her. But what you have to know, and I appreciate that, at this point, Jamie and Laurie have become woven together. There is no separation. And I appreciate what you're saying. I really, really do. I don't have anything in my life. Oh, it's so bad.
Loved it. Like, when you were making all of these particular, sorry, I'm old, and so I gotta like adjust my, God, that just changed everything. I was leaning over like a crazy person. All right, what did you do as an antidote when you were being a scream queen? Like, how did you shake all of the intensity of doing that genre of film, all the Halloweens? Like, what was your antidote? By the way, being high and seeing these movies, I just, yeah, I woke up, but I can't. Like, send me just to the hospital right now.
You know, it doesn't stick with me. It's not anything I need to shed or like do something to counteract it. It's just not sort of me. I'm here, sitting here at Comic-Con with you guys, and then later I'll be in my room by myself. And I will think back on this, and I will try to explain it maybe to somebody in my family. and they'll tell me that the dog vomited or something.
Yeah.
Or, you know, life is going on around us. This is a rarefied air moment for us. I feel like I'm here with you, but it's about being here with you right now. And I will of course remember it, but I don't.
You don't need to.
I don't need
carbs and
to
watch
separate out anything. I'm a very sort of in the moment person, and when I'm at work doing that work, I do the work, and then I stop doing the work.
I was more thinking on the terms of like, you've been covered in blood all day, you're being hosed off, and you're like, I'm gonna go home and watch like a comedy and eat a lean cuisine. Like, is there anything like that? Like, just sometimes when you've got a long day at work in the horror genre, are you ever like, you know what, I really need like a laugh and a bite of cheesecake or something? That's what I would do.
Yeah.
After Scream, I went and sat on a dock, because it was all night shoots, and I drank beers on a dock, and then like crawled into my friend's like mom's bed because I thought it was the safest place I could go. Like sometimes there is like the, oh, I need just something super normal after a wild day of play.
No. No. I mean, the hardest part of the day is getting the blood off, and by the way, Dawn for dishes. Who knew?
I want to get into a storyline of the last franchise, which I have known David Gordon Green for 20-something years. I've been such an admirer of him, from George Washington to All the Real Girls, certainly his Pineapple Express.
Years old, nobody has ever made a movie 20 years later using the same actor, writer, director, producer. Let's do it. And that began, and you know, Kevin Williamson wrote the script.
Right, he wrote Scream.
No, right, exactly. So John ultimately didn't write it, Deborah ultimately didn't produce it, I was in it, and it was conceived as what happens when you run from fear. So Laurie, the conceit of the movie is that Laurie Strode has run from Haddonfield.
Oh, shit, that's deep.
She has escaped, she's changed her name, she's living in an assumed identity somewhere else, and she feels like she's safe. And of course, the whole conceit of the movie was, if you're running from fear, you're dead inside. If you can't be alive if you're running from fear all the time. And so the conceit of the movie was that there's this moment, of course, where he comes back, and there's this moment where she has to choose. I'm gonna fight him and die, maybe, but I'm kind of dead already, and if I win, I'm gonna be alive. And that was the conceit of the movie, but it was supposed to end him. Like, end him. That was the conceit, that's what we talked about. And that's what I signed up for, and it was all going along great, and then I got the script, and it was vague ending. It was like, whatever, a car going off a cliff and a fire, or whatever. And it just kept happening. I kept going back and going like, hey, I thought we were like ending this. This is vague. Anyway, it turned out that in that moment there was some contract. I don't know who it was, the Weinsteins were involved. I
hope it didn't have in perpetuity in it.
And you couldn't kill him. Now, this is a train that's going. I mean, we're ready to go. And Kevin came up. I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to tease an audience again. I said, I came up with this idea to end it. I'm not going to like tease you guys and be like, oh yeah, it wasn't, you know, I didn't really, but get you to come to the movie. What happened was, I said, I won't do the movie. I won't do it. Laurie Strode has to kill Michael. Done. Or I'm not going to do the movie. I don't need to, blah, blah, blah.
Well, good for sticking for your gut.
What happened
Principle.
is that Kevin Williamson came up with an idea. There was one of those moments of this. What if, between the scene in the house and the body being brought out, anyway, you know the answer to this, it turns out not to be Michael in the thing, it turns out to be a paramedic who's actually in the mask, so that I ultimately kill an innocent person. And I said to them, okay, if you're gonna do that, and it looks like Laurie Strode has ended it, my audience is gonna be feeling like it's ended because, okay, I'll do it. I said, but you have to pay me a lot of money in the next movie, and you have to kill me in the first 10 minutes of the movie because I've now killed an innocent man, and I can't live with that. And that's why the end of H2O is what it is, and why I'm in the beginning of Resurrection. But I want to address David Gordon Green because it's way more important. Here's what I think occurred. As I said, I didn't think I would do another movie. And Jake Gyllenhaal, who is my godson, called me. And he said, hey Jen, David Gordon Green, who he'd worked with on the fantastic movie Stronger, about the Boston bombing, where he said, David Gordon Green would like to talk to you about a Halloween movie. I was like, okay. And David called me, all the things, sent me the script. And what David Gordon Green did is this. Laurie Strode, at 17, survived that night. Her friends were killed. And I believe that Laurie Strode went to school November 2nd, 1978, with a Band-Aid on her arm. And at that moment, nobody said a word to her. There was no therapy, there was no help. Laurie Strode, at the age of 17, went back to school and was sort of then the freak, the girl that survived. She had, survivor's guilt, and nobody ever talked about it. David Gordon Green sent me a script where he said, I think Laurie's been spending 40 years living behind barbed wire, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And that's her only purpose in life, at the expense of her daughter and her granddaughter, is that she knows Michael Myers is coming back. And it was this incredibly beautiful film about Laurie and her trauma, and I've seen the fucking meme, so don't worry. It was funny. But the movie also made a fucking fortune, so fuck you. But you know what I mean. That it was this beautiful movie about a woman taking control of her life. And it coincided with the women around the world standing up and taking control of their life and saying, me too, time is up, me too. And those two things, the wave of the women's uprising matched the wave of Laurie Strode's uprising, and together we rode that wave together. And it was at the moment where you go, David Gordon Green is prescient. He wrote this movie 2 years ago. And now here we are in this moment. But then it happened again. So the second movie, Halloween Kills, is about a mob uprising. It's about a community basically saying to law enforcement and their community, the system is broken, it's not working, we're gonna take back the power. And it coincided with a lot of civil uprisings around the country, mostly based on the George Floyd killing, but it happened all over the country. Groups of people started to stand up, coinciding with the movie and January 6th insurrection, and then we released a movie called Halloween Kills about a mob uprising. Again, David Gordon Green has some prescience, some understanding of society, of what we're doing to each other, of how we're feeling it as a group of people in a community. And now he's made a movie about how we treat each other. And it's a movie of how the entire town of Haddonfield has turned against Laurie Strode, the very victim, the innocent victim, whose life was brutalized by Michael Myers. And it just shows how pervasive what violence does to people. And what David Gordon Green has done is like slid 3 little Trojan horses into each of these movies. These movies are about way more than just Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. They're about who we are. And I'm incredibly proud of them. I'm proud of him, I'm proud of our crew, the writers, and I'm really proud that the audiences want it. You guys don't just want to see Michael walking around like this. You want there to be something of substance, because the integrity of these movies is why they're successful. They're not successful because we just run around going, They're successful because they're about something, and at the center of all of it is Laurie Strode, a woman. Every single person in this room has persevered. There's not a person in this room that hasn't had some hardship, some difficulty in their lives, that they have continued to stand up and get up each day and say, I'm going to keep trying. And the fact that Laurie Strode has never given up, it makes me want to sing the Peter Gabriel song. You know, don't give up is the message of Laurie Strode. Don't give up, people. And I love that that's her legacy. And it's her legacy because of you guys.
Jamie, if I could end it with 3 minutes to go in a rapid fire game.
Let's go.
All right.
And then I want to take a picture, and I'm not...
Oh, you know what? Yeah, before you
know, we could do it after.
Okay, perfect. That's how we're going to really end.
But all I'm saying is I know you had a choice. I hope, like Freaky Friday, you made good choices.
Oh, interesting.
And if you didn't, that'll be interesting. I'm ready. Rapid fire.
All right. On behalf
Here we
of
go.
the Barrymore show, I want to play our favorite game. Ladies and gentlemen, to take a look at the body of work of none other than legend Jamie Lee Curtis. It's behind the scenes. All right. Now we're going to do a rapid fire. First thought, first thing, morsel, tidbit, fly on the wall, secret, that comes to your mind first when I announce a few pieces of your work. We're gonna start with, funny enough, you just mentioned Freaky Friday. Freaky Friday!
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire, first thought, secret, tidbit, morsel, fly on the wall.
When I got a text from Lindsay last week, when I was in London, she said, hi Jamie, it's Linz. I said, prove it. She said, what do you mean? I said, prove it. And I said, what was the name of the song that you and I were learning the rap to while we were doing the French fry scene in the car, where we were stuck in the car all day? What was the song we were fast forwarding and rewinding to write down the lyrics of the rap to? And I waited for the answer. And the answer is Like I Love You by Justin Timberlake, and it's the Clips rap. And it's that Ma, what you want to do, I'm in front of you, grab a friend, see, I can have fun with two. And I'm telling you, the two of us were like writing this down. And now I know that it's Lindsay.
And what did you text her back?
Hi, Lindsay.
Okay, everybody, give me a tidbit, a morsel, a fly on the wall moment, a secret, first thing that comes to mind, true lies.
Okay, stand up, where are you? Get up. Okay, can you put up the house lights? See this woman standing in the front? Right there on the corner? Her name is Donna Keegan. That's the brave bitch who hung under the helicopter. Right there.
Oh my God!
That woman was my stunt double in many, 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 many movies, and she's the woman they plucked out of a real limousine going off a real bridge in the Florida Keys. Give it up for her.
And we say you're the one!
Now, I will tell you
Keep the
this.
house lights up, please.
She was
So fun to see everybody.
It was such an amazing stunt double for me that when you watch that movie, the limo ride on the bridge,
Oh yes.
where Helen is hanging out and the thing, literally, I have done the voice thing for the DVD, and it's literally, it literally sounds like this. Jamie, Jamie, Donna, Jamie, Donna, Jamie, Donna, Donna, Jamie, 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 Donna, 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 Jamie, 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 Donna, Donna, Jamie. That's how many cuts there are. That's how incredibly doubling she was. It was a privilege of my life
to work with her, and she just texted that she was here, and now you asked about it, and boom, look what
It
happened.
is an honor to meet you. All right, I gotta ask, speaking of physical movement, that takes me right into one of my favorite films of yours. I'll never forget John Travolta doing that move with his sweaty outfit, and you're up there in your high cut, insane, the movie Perfect. Like, it lives rent free in my mind.
Perfect was the movie I was making when I met Chris. So my connection.
Christopher Guest, her husband, who's
So,
the coolest man in the
My
world. Sorry.
connection to Perfect is that I got married. So, I mean, the movie was great. John, I love, John. I'm going to tell you a John Travolta story, 10 seconds. It doesn't matter, fuck the time. So, here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't know if you watched the Oscars, but the Oscars this year, I was asked to do the Betty White tribute. Betty White passed away. I'd made a movie called You Again with her, very sweet movie, and I was asked to do it. And she was an animal rights activist. You love animals.
yes.
And I said to them, you know what? I'm only going to do it if I can bring a little rescue dog out with me, because she was an animal rights activist, and in her honor, I would like to go out on the Oscars and say, hey everybody, Betty White was this cool lady, and she loved animals more than you, and basically, somebody in the world, I want you to adopt the little puppy's name is Mac and Cheese. And I said, I would like you to adopt Mac and Cheese. In honor of Betty White. Go rescue an animal today. That's if you love her, show her by rescuing an animal.
She would have loved that.
Like little Mac and Cheese. So when I was backstage, I ran into John Travolta, who I love, and he and his family lost Kelly Preston 2 years ago, and I communicated with him then, and I ran into him backstage, and I had a little puppy, and I was like, I'm going out and doing this thing with the dog. Guess who adopted Mac? And guess who flew Mac and Cheese back to his home in Florida the next day? So if you follow John, go on his Instagram and you will see this beautiful little video a week ago of little Mac and Cheese, who's now named Peanut. But that's my John Travolta. That's who John Travolta is.
That's the best story ever. That was storytelling, it was payoff, it had an arc. I have to ask you quickly, I know before your first film, Halloween, that you were in shows like The Love Boat. And also, as a personal question and a fan of the franchise, you did an episode of Charlie's Angels.
Yes, I did. By the way, I did an episode of Charlie's Angels where I was Cheryl Ladd's best friend. And somehow somebody was trying to kill me, I don't remember. And all I know is that in the episode, we're walking over a bridge, the bridge collapses, and we fall into the water, and Cheryl has to wrestle an alligator.
Well, an angel's got to do what an angel's got to do. And Chris Monroe is going to get the job done. Sorry.
It's all right. Come back, Drew. Come back, Drew.
I am Dylan Saunders from Charlie's Angels. I just went
before we get off this, can we take that picture?
Yes.
Because, by the way, I don't think my family will understand this, and I think there's really only way to make them understand it, which would be to take a certain photograph that I know. Again, I'm not going to be able to come and find those of you who made the wrong choice. I accept your choice. I fight your choice. I love you anyway, kind of. So apparently what they would like us to do is try to turn up the lights, which they already did, and I guess you're supposed to put it in front of your face. I don't fucking know. Oh wow. Hold on.
So everyone has their mask.
Well, I don't see everyone in a mask. They're a little shiny. Wait a minute, there's a Michael in the front fucking row. What?
Isn't there always, Jamie?
I know. Wow, you guys, this is crazy town. Beautiful.
Thank you, everybody.
God bless you guys. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life. Truly. Without you, nothing. Without you, nothing. I appreciate you so much. God bless you.